Take aim! Oh! Fire!
The Incorporated Militia and the Royal Moose, Royal Newfoundland Regiment have both come on the field together. Sergeant is dressing them and lining them up so that they're side by side, so the flashing coming out the sides and the front of the muskets doesn't hurt his own men. You needed to have teeth to be able to be in the army because you had to have at least some kind of a tooth on the top and the bottom to get the cartridge open. They're kept in the cartouche, which is that black box or bag on their back on their right hip.
Right track! Company right track! Company right track! Third! Kneel! Fire! Ready!
The effect is like having one large shotgun with everybody being up. It becomes effective when a line of fire or a wall of fire comes out. You can aim them all you want. It's not going to go where you think it's going to go. You have your fire partners on either side of you. Somebody is bound to hit something.
All
Done very orderly. It's done to intimidate the other side, to make sure that they think that you are a superior power, and they will probably gradually creep up a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. We've had people ask if we're using real ammunition. Yes, it is real ammunition, but we don't use the lead ball part. Because somebody might hit somebody. Once the muskets get warmed up a little bit and they get used to the sergeant's timing again, it should sound as one crack coming out. If you have a large battalion of people, of 200 or 300 doing this at one time, it is quite effective. In a situation where you have 4 or 5 or 6 regiments together to make up a battalion, the commanding officer can have you fire by company from the right or from the left. The right company will fire, and then the second, the third, the fourth company, and by the time you get to 5th or 6th, the first one should be loaded again, so it can just go right back to them and just roll right down the ranks. The commanding officer can tell them to fire independently by companies that they want, or as an entire battalion. He can. It's his choice and his whim as to how it's going to be.
Hey there, Dad.
Hey, ready?
Enfilading from the right is a way to keep fire going in the same kind of way. It also lets us see how many times these muskets don't go off. We've done it to try to show people they don't always go off, and of course then they do. And other times it can be 8 in a row and they'll go click, click, click each time, and it could be either from fouling or the wind or the rain or any kind of weather conditions. Later on in the 1860s, when they were using percussion caps in the American Civil War, the weather wasn't quite such a factor. Excellent. That's what it's supposed to sound like when it sounds like it's one.
No, they're just pretending him. They're pretty good pretenders though, aren't they?
Yeah. Wait, they're not actually dead?
No, they're not actually dead.
Those
They're real, it's fine. It's real ammunition, but there's no lead ball in it. So they're not firing anything out.
They are firing independently as companies right now.
Yo, you're gonna shoot
It's almost like chess. You move forward a little bit, to the side, move back, move forward, until you are effective with the troops on both sides. The British are now firing and retiring. One group has fired and retired 10, 15 paces back. The second group, or the Incorporated Militia Royal Regiment, will fire. They'll probably retire and go back a little bit further as the Americans push them back. Well done.
Dad, we died like 10. Which one's our team again?
The Canadians are the red.
The American commander decided to put his into one single rank to make a wider frontage. It's like pulling your goalie in hockey and sending more men forward. Two went, 2 did not go. 3 knot, 4 knot.
Yo, that was an
That was about half of the muskets. At this kind of a situation, once we get going, half the muskets not firing is about right. It also gives the sergeant time to encourage his men to do better with the sword.
You can do better than that! Right about face.
Yes, Sergeant.
What's that?
Looks like it.
The British, it's not necessarily for the Redcoats, a retreat as a tactical regrouping so they can come back possibly at force or
Another guy fall down.
now the sergeant has a real job. His commanding officer missing.
Load him up!
Be careful you don't step on the
Often men needed to be encouraged.
Dress it up! Dress it up!
Dressing up means just keep it in a straight line, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow.
Nice, Sergeant!
Why don't you sit over here?
Dress it up!
I don't want to die.
Right in front of Claudia, okay?
Take A!
Cover yours, Oz.
And move! First!
The Battle of Christchurch Farm a couple of years ago, we had a
Whoa, nice,
a newly officer, and he was his first command. We had all decided ahead of time on the second volley we would all go down and we were standing on the field. And we did.
Oh.
Hey!
Cover yours, Oz.
Down! First! That's not working!
People wonder sometimes
ready!
who owns all of this equipment, who owns the
Take
uniforms,
aim!
who owns the swords and the muskets.
Oh no!
Jeez, I never
Celebration is so as often as we possibly can. Many of the same people that you see on the can't see on the mascot. They say good to see you. Muskets, and you back Friday night.
Skip those lobster backs!
It seems to be a little bit more effective this day than sometimes is.
You want to win Nancy?
Halt! Make ready! Take
I don't think we're gonna win this one though.
fire!
I think there's a reason why we started off with more than they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel that too. Look at that suntan lotion.
Yeah, the one poor guy there.
I'm suspecting
Once he
it's not going
wins.
to take much longer since they're down to now.
Mortis and roll over.
Commanding officer of the British side has tipped his hat towards the Americans.